Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Leith and today I'm going to be reviewing the Vibram 5-finger shoes. Now these shoes are really cool. They're really different than anything else that's out on the market. Each toe has a separate compartment, and because of this they bring a unique feel to the foot, as well as apparently helping to open up the foot and give you a better base of support. Now today we're going to be looking at two different types of the Vibrams, which are going to be the KSO EVOs and the V-Trek Insulated. Now I've owned these shoes both for about 6 months, so I think it's safe to say I can give an honest review. And today I'm going to be going through the pros and cons of each of these shoes, as well as reviewing in 5 different sports and how I rank them. I'm going to sum it up all at the end, so stay tuned for that. Now the first ones we're going to talk about are the KSO EVOs. And the KSO EVOs are a great all-rounder shoe. They're great for daily walking, and you can also do all sorts of activities in these. So if you're looking at the 5 fingers, I'm definitely going to recommend the EVOs as the first shoe that you go for. Now the pros of the shoe are definitely that they're super flexible. You can literally fold them up and put them in a bag. And of course, being flexible, they're super light. They are amazingly comfortable, and of course they fit like a glove. They're super grippy, which is fantastic on concrete and even on the grass. And washing is easy. You just chuck it into the washing machine and let it drip dry. Now the cons of these shoes, unfortunately, they do get smelly quite quickly. These shoes are designed to be worn without socks. I sometimes wear them with socks, but I actually prefer wearing them without socks. But after 1 to 2 wears, they start smelling a little bit, and you really need to watch out for that. So you're gonna either have to use a deodorizer or you're gonna have to wash them regularly like me. The other thing, fortunately, I don't know if it's just my pair, but the design on this model is not really that reliable. I'm already getting some peeling on the edges after 6 months, which kind of appeared at about the 3-month mark. And one of the ends to the laces came off in the first month. I went back to the manufacturer and Vibram were happy to replace them. I decided to keep them because I didn't want to go through the hassle for just the lace. Another con is, of course, because of the toes, they're actually quite hard to put on. When you're putting them on, it's actually easier to stand up than sit down, because standing up spreads your feet and it makes it easier to get your toes into the holes. If you're like me and you've got quite narrow feet, then it's going to take some time to get used to this. It's not one of those kinds of shoes that if you're going on to try on clothing, that you're going to be wanting to wear. The other thing is with the EVOs, they do tend to get cold. You can get cold feet, especially in winter time, so you're gonna have to wear socks, or you're gonna have to have another pair of Vibrams like the Treks. And the last con is that they have terrible water management. Because the toes are separate and the rubber only goes about halfway up the toe, there's really no protection for water getting into the shoe. So if you step in just a really low puddle, you're gonna get water in your shoe, which is a really sucky thing. The good thing, however, about the Treks is you don't have this issue, as they are fully covered. Keep that in mind when you're getting these shoes. Again, for the Treks, the pros are pretty much all the same. They're amazingly comfortable. The grip is slightly different though, as they feel really grippy on the grass and on a trekking environment, but they don't feel as grippy on the concrete. So they're definitely a much better trail shoe. The other beneficial thing about the Treks is they have a little bit of softness. They have a little bit more padding in the front of the foot. This helps with adjusting to the shoe when you get it, as you can wear this for longer without getting any sort of pain in your foot. They also fit like a glove, they wash really easily, and the pro of the Treks is that because of this insulation, you're not going to get your feet wet. Also, these ones are insulated with wool, and honestly, they are so warm, so I would definitely recommend these if you're in winter or in a cold climate. So next, I'm going to review the KSO EVOs first, so that you can get a good feel about what and how these shoes perform. The first one is walking, and for walking I give these shoes a 7 out of 10. The reason why is because they are very comfortable and they fit like a glove, but on longer walks they can be a bit painful during the adjustment period because of the lack of padding. And also they're not really comfortable for walking on stones. You can really feel the stones. Secondly, the Treks and walking, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. They're more comfortable because they're padded, slightly less flexible, and because of this just make walking slightly easier. Although they're slightly less grippy on concrete, they still perform very well. And the only negative about these ones is that they get too warm in the summer when you're walking around all day. The next exercise is sprinting. Now this is where the EVOs perform so well. I'm gonna give them a 10 out of 10 for sprinting. Amazing. I've never sprinted in a shoe that feels so natural and comfortable as the EVOs. They outperform any other shoe I've ever tried, including sprinting shoes, just because of the natural gait. And even on a wet surface, wet concrete, or even on wet grass, I actually feel safe in the EVOs. With the V-Treks, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. because they're less flexible in the foot, they don't allow for as much of a natural feel. Again, they are still fantastic, but not quite as good. When it comes to the calisthenics in the gym, again, the EVOs are a 10 out of 10. They have massive grip, a fully natural feel, and honestly, I love them. You forget that you're wearing them. And for me, doing handstands and other types of calisthenic skills, that is so awesome to feel that. I don't feel like I have to take my shoes off when I'm doing calisthenic skills, as they just feel so natural. For the V-Treks, I would give them an 8 out of 10, just because again, they're not quite as flexible and they're just too hot when it comes to doing gym work and other training. If you do more than 1 hour, your feet are gonna start really sweating. Now next up is bouldering or climbing. And these shoes have a lot of controversy around these types of exercises because of how they are. Now I'm gonna give the EVOs a 5 out of 10 for this exercise. And the reason why is they actually do the opposite of a traditional climbing shoe. A traditional climbing shoe is gonna enclose your feet, whereas the KSO EVOs are obviously gonna separate your toes. And this is gonna give you a better ground to form on, but it's gonna be harder to hold your toes on the very thin rocks. And it's also quite painful. So you can climb in these shoes, and I think they are actually okay, but when you go to harder climbs, it's really difficult. Now the V-Treks, I just wouldn't even recommend for climbing because they're just not suited for it. The bottom of the shoe is rounded slightly up, and it's just the complete opposite of a traditional climbing shoe. I've never tried them for climbing, and I would not recommend. And the last exercise actually being football or soccer. Now, I actually love the EVOs playing soccer. They're nice and wide, they feel comfortable, and you can have so much control on the ball. So I'm gonna give these a 9 out of 10 for football. The V-Treks, I just would not recommend for the sport, as they are just too inflexible and they're just not really suited. So to sum it all up, it's really dependent on you. But these shoes have so much character, they're so different, and honestly, they feel so comfortable. I feel my feet getting more flexible, and I love wearing these shoes every day. I'm not gonna say that these shoes are good for everyone, but for the sports I do, which is mainly calisthenics and sprinting, they are absolutely perfect, and I would recommend it to anyone doing these kinds of sports. The KSO EVOs are the way to go, and if you're interested in hikes and going off trail, then the V-Treks are fantastic too. Just remember that in winter, you are gonna get wet feet with the EVOs, so you might want a different pair or the V-Treks to manage that. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel today. If you liked what you see, please give me a like, a comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in learning awesome calisthenics skills, please check out my tutorial and other videos on here. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in today. Peace out.